Last chapter, last system, the reproductive system. When it comes to the reproductive system, guys, both of them will have primary reproductive organs, your gonads, okay? The primary reproductive organs or gonads are ovaries for the female, testes for the males, okay? I know, obvious stuff, right? Each of them produce sex cells. Sex cells are called gametes. This is going to be the egg for the female, sperm for the male. They unite at fertilization and ta-da, get you offspring. Both of these gonads produce a large amount of sex hormones, estrogens, progesterones for females, and testosterone, androgens for guys. These are going to help for increasing maturation, development of sexual organs, development of secondary sex characteristics, make you into an adult. Okay. There are a number of accessory glands, and these accessory organs, are there to not produce a gamete. They are there to protect. They are there to provide sustenance. They are there to conduct it to wherever fertilization is going to go. So, and we'll look at the duct system associated with both males and females. There are a number of different hormones that we'll see for both females and males when it comes to all of the fun different cycles that occur for each of them. All of this begins in earnest at puberty. The hypothalamus is what starts it all off. The hypothalamus secretes really all stimulating and inhibiting hormones for every hormone within the body, as well as a couple others as well. But the hypothalamus secretes the gonadotrophin releasing hormone. Hopefully, just by looking at this word here, gonads, this is going to stimulate the secretion of the anterior pituitary to secrete FSH, follicle stimulating hormone, and LH, luteinizing hormone. This is what is ultimately going to start the process of helping to make sex cells, gametes, and ultimately kickstart sexual maturation. We're going to get a boost in estrogens. We're going to get a boost in testosterone, which is going to further advance secondary sex characteristics. Again, gametes are the sex cells, and the sex cells, the oocyte for the female, one lone gamete every month. Only takes one, right? Male produces about 100 million per day. And there is a huge number of them associated with the ejaculate, and we'll talk about that later. For females, you are, well, we'll talk about it here, but we'll talk about it a little bit later, but you start with a huge number in utero and you slowly whittle them away. For males, you only store them for a short period of time. So if they're not, after they've made, and as long as males have testosterone, they make them. Women, you have a finite set. If they're not expelled, when it comes to sperm, they're just reabsorbed into the body, and we just make new ones. So let's look at the formation of these things, and that's what gametogenesis is. Gameto is gamete, and genesis is formation of. Okay, genesis, forming sex cells. Okay. Again, the oocyte is the egg and the sperm is the male part. And this is meiosis. Same steps as mitosis as we saw earlier in the semester. There's just two different divisions now. If we look at just a small little overview here of heredity and meiosis, because we're going to talk about what makes up a genotypic male and a genotypic female later. But when we look at chromosomes, there are 23 pairs. The first 22 pairs are referred to as autosomes. These code literally for everything associated with the body. That's what that means. The last pair of chromosomes are sex chromosomes. These are the X's and Y's. These are what are going to determine female and male. And ultimately, if estrogens or testosterone is going to get produced. You get half of your chromosomes from mom, and you get half of your chromosomes from dad. And that decides what you look at in the mirror every single day. Again, this is meiosis. This is not mitosis, okay? This is meiosis. The purpose of meiosis is to reduce the number of chromosomes within a gamete by half, okay? That is the ultimate end game. You start with a diploid parent cell, and diploid means it has the whole, 23 pairs of chromosomes, 23 pairs, okay? So what's that, 46 chromosomes, okay? 46 chromosomes. The end game of meiosis is to reduce that in half, 23 from mom, 23 from dad, you're 46. So the end goal, is to produce haploid daughter cells. And ultimately, we're going to produce 4, but I'm getting ahead of myself here. So when it comes to meiosis, this is what we're looking at right here. Okay, this is sex cell division. So this is only happening in the testes or the ovaries. Okay, this is only involving egg and sperm. We produce 4 haploid daughter cells. They're generally genetically different. There's crossing over, there's independent assortment. There are a number of things that can occur there that if you're more curious about, or if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you should have taken Biology 101. Gen Bio. These are providing like 47 septillion different versions of the genetic outcome. So that's a lot. It's greater than the debt for now anyway. But these 4 haploid daughter cells are genetically different from each other, and potentially genetically different from each other, and definitely genetically different from their parent cells. And this allows us to create a lot of variation. And that's what sex is. Sex is an introduction of variation into the offspring, which gives them hopefully a genetic advantage to conquer that environment. When it comes to mitosis, there's identical cells that are reproduced, only 2 cells that are reproduced, and it involves body. So it happens everywhere else, not testes, not ovaries. But that's the end game. There's 2 divisions, goes through it, and ultimately forms the egg and the sperm when it comes to meiosis.